Mangana, they say Jawas. But what's this news with this? What's this news with this? Albert Amoah's return. I was surprised though. I just opened my thing and I saw Albert Amoah's return back to Kotoko.
And it's quite a surprise. This news had been lingering for quite some time. All of us are asking questions. How is it that Albert Amoah made the transfer to Al Ahly Benghazi and then Kotoko were calling for their money?
It's bizarre.
So we're asking questions. Why? What happened, Kotoko? How were you able to translate that? And we know that you need to get money before you, the club, Asante Kotoko, you even tell the Ghana Football Association to release the ITC.
That's correct.
To Ali Benghazi.
It's interesting. It could also be that. It could also be that it was an actual or outright transfer. However, the club has decided to loan the player back to Asante Kotoko. Now, the question is that have they made full payment?
Isn't a deal sheet available to know the terms of the transfer?
The GFA should have it.
The funny part of it is they would always hide this. They are always hiding this.
The GFA should have. Listen, enough of Asante Kotoko. We have a lot to talk about. Last week, Kelvin ditched us. Apparently, he had a date. He had a hot date in Accra. So, ditched us. But we have Mangana.
Blinding.
I thought we were going to hear Wedding Bell soon.
It might be wedding sirens, but I tried my best to introduce the show as Kelvin does. Obviously, I couldn't meet the height that he's raised the bar to. So I'm gonna give it back to Kelvin. Kelvin, take us away.
What's good, football fans? Welcome to the 50-50 Football Podcast, where we break down the beautiful game from every angle. We've got a very packed show for you today, covering everything from continental glory in Africa to managerial moves seeking up the biggest clubs in Europe. Well, first up, we're going to dive deep into the AFCON semi-finals. We review the drama, the standout performances, and the controversies that got us to this point. Well, our own Daniel Lai was in the thick of affairs. Then we will turn our attention to the final. Who's got the edge? Is this Senegal or the hosts? Morocco are going to win their second trophy ahead of Senegal. What tactical battles should we expect, and who is lifting that particular trophy? Next on the agenda, we will be heading to Old Trafford to talk about Manchester United and the Michael Carrick situation. This is a masterstroke in the making, or possibly another chapter in United's post-Ferguson struggles. Well, wait to see. We're going to break all of that down. And finally, we'll turn attention to the rumor mill, turning out about Real Madrid's probability of getting Jurgen Klopp after sacking Xabi Alonso and bringing in Alvaro Arbeloa, called the elegant former player 10 manager, be heading to the Bernabéu to make sure that things will become positive for them. We are going to discuss the possibility and what it will mean for the Los Blancos and their future after exiting the Copa del Rey. All you need to do now is to grab your headphones, settle in. Let's get into this. This is the 50-50 Football Podcast.
Every week you want launch new introduction.
Every day we add more and more.
Oh, Dini, that's how we do it. But quickly, gentlemen, let me welcome you all guys here. Thanks for having you, and a very great evening. Hope you guys have been doing great.
We are doing the best as we can. The world is tough. Man United is tougher. and it's even tougher. It's even tougher in Madrid.
All the best to my fans.
All the best to my fans. Wait to see that. Well, on the other side,
he himself, he's a shadow Man United fan, but he's telling us all the best to us. We are in this together.
I advised myself some time ago.
All right, all advising yourself, some time ago. But quickly, we are not going to spend a lot of time because each segment contains a lot to talk about. First of all, let's begin from the African Nations Cup semi-finals review, and then we'll preview the finals. But first of all, the semi-finals, it was once again Sadio Mané turning out to be the brightest light, shining and shadowing Mohamed Salah on another big platform, the African Nations Cup. With his brilliant finish, the Lions of Teranga edged the Pharaohs of Egypt and progressed to the final in a keenly contested game, which Senegal virtually dominated every single aspect. First of all, I don't know who to throw this to, but Asari, were you expecting this kind of performance from Senegal? I doubted them to be overly dominant, but clearly they seem.
This question is for Kama there. This question has to come to me. I have pushed Senegal as the favorites to win them. As I was supporting Cote d'Ivoire.
I'll come.
Give it to him. Let him say what he wants to say. Give it to him.
and then Kotoko come in.
Senegal played a very good game. Like they were exceptional in the game. And the most beautiful thing about the whole game is I'm sure Jamie Carragher would be very happy because once again, Sadio Mané has been the impediment to Salah's ascendance. And it was just beautiful to see how well Senegal played the game. They took their chances and they just had an impeccable performance. I actually thought the team was a bit too old and they were getting on, but it seems they have the chops. And Kweku was right that we were going to go all the way to the final.
Well, but eventually they managed to get there. But you know, Kweku, yes, Asari has very little to say because his favorite.
What does he have to say? He doesn't have much to say. Last time I was telling people that my predictions are always wrong.
My predictions are always right. I've just got one out of, I lost only one or two.
Oh, look at you. He thought himself the oracle of the pod.
Let's get to you. A very, wonderful performance from the Lions of Teranga. I actually doubted them a bit because of the coach, but they put up a masterclass.
No, I told you from day one that they were ready to win the tournament. I saw them from day one. The only issue I had with them at the time was that they weren't aggressive defensively. So as soon as they lost the ball or whenever they had to transition to a defensive shape, you didn't see that aggression that I saw with the Cameroonians. I told you about the Cameroonians that they lacked talent. They lacked that quality in their side, and no disrespect to the team that they parried, but they played with a lot of heart. And you'd see the captain Nuhu celebrating whenever there was a clearance or a tackle. Now I expected to see something of that sort from Senegal, because for a team to win a tournament, you need to be good in all four phases of play. So attacking, defensive, and in both transition phases. And even there's a fifth dimension, anticipating when to even lose the ball. So I was a bit worried about that. And even in the game against Egypt, when they lost Koulibaly so early on, I was worried. I was very concerned because Mamouche is a handful, and then there's Salah who can score at any time. And so losing someone like Kalidou Koulibaly, I was very concerned. But again, I've said it from day one that this is a tournament of the big boys. The big boys have come to play. They've come to show that they are the stars. That there's a reason why they represent their countries, or they are the poster boys for their clubs and their countries. And Sadio Mané is too tall once again. He's too tall once again, and he made sure that he made a difference for the Teranga Lions of Senegal. But what hurt me is what Asari said, that Jamie Carragher can now talk whatever. Talk is talk, if that's even a right expression, about Mohamed Salah. Take nothing away from Salah. Perhaps he was unfortunate that, or perhaps it's unfortunate that he met the generation of Egypt that didn't have the quality or the level of talent that characterizes, or that has characterized Egypt in AFCONs ago. So you think about the Abu Treka team, they had Wayu Goma in defense, they had Esamel Hadari in post at the time, they had people like Mohamed Barakat, who was even on the bench at some point. The team was so good that people like Mohamed Barakat was on the bench. So people like Mido were even banished from the team. They had good enough talent that they put people like Mido, Imad Moteb, they were all in the team at the time. But unfortunately, take nothing away from this side, they've done very, very well to get to the semi-finals. It's just unfortunate that someone like Salah can't lift the AFCON trophy for his country. But I'm happy. It's the Teranga Lions of Senegal versus the Atlas Lions of Morocco in the final. So the battle of the lions, lion versus lion, lion go run.
Well, lots will be spoken about, and I think that things are actually shaping up. But let's look at the other game too, the other semi-final. And Kweku, I'll start from you before Asari takes over. Nigeria, they lost to Morocco via penalty shootout. Yes, concerns about officiating, but I think that if you're good a team as you are, you'll be able to progress. And they did not give enough. I look at this Nigeria team, and I think that they could play beyond what we actually saw. They were just intimidated, or psychologically they lost the battle coming into the game. I don't know what you guys think, but what did you make of Morocco's progression via penalty shootout, 4-2 victory, even when they missed the first kick during the shootout?
to be honest with you, I think the better side on the day qualified. Nigeria should stop pointing fingers at Daniel Lai. I think like Daniel Lai had a fine game. Did he make some questionable calls? Yes, he did. He made. But so does every referee in a big game. Yeah. Hardly will you see a referee in a big tournament like this involving, or in a big game like this involving the host at a crucial point of the tournament, knockout stage of the tournament, whereby the teams are almost at par and the referee won't make a questionable call. At the end of the day, none of his calls dramatically changed the direction of the game. You can't say that, oh, perhaps he issued a red card to someone that gave an unnecessary advantage to somebody, or he gave away a penalty to some. No. Even the Moroccans had a legitimate call for a penalty. That wasn't given, right? That wasn't given. So you can't blame the referee for your inability to qualify. At the end of the day, the better side qualified on the day. Trust me. Look at the penalty Chukwueze played. Listen, I'm not a professional footballer. I'm lousy at football when I'm playing it. But I won't play such a penalty. I'll go at it with everything I have. Play a meaty penalty, man. Charlie Bomuye. You know?
A lot of power, like Wayne Rooney.
Yeah. Wayne Rooney, Lampard style. Hit it hard. Can't you see the English boys when they play penalties? A lot of power. They choose they choose their spot and they go at it with everything that they have. I'm not sure whether he changed his mind at the last minute. That's why he hit it that way. But again, that's what happens when you're facing a goalkeeper like Yasin Bonu, who is very, very good at penalties. So Nigerians, they should be proud of themselves, honestly, with all that they've been through, inability to qualify to the World Cup, administrative issues, poor organization, bonuses being unpaid. They even lost their captain in Didi in their semi-final clash. But they still played very, very well to get to the semi-finals of the AFCON. So they should be proud of themselves. Osimhen still has an opportunity to win an AFCON in the next edition before he retires. And I hope he does, because he's done a lot for the country. He's played his heart out for the country. He's 2 goals away from breaking Rashidi Yakini's record to become the country's all-time top scorer. And I hope he does, because he plays with a lot of heart and I love him. The better team qualified. Enough of Nigeria trying to blame Daniel Lai for their loss. They should look within, right? They should look within, and they can come back better next time.
Like Kwaku said, like Kwaku said, the better team won on the day, and Morocco were very, very good in the game. Morocco, in their pressing and counter pressing, they shut the water off for Nigeria. Even if you look at the stats, Morocco had 16 shots and 5 on target. Nigeria had 2 shots and only 1 on target. They prevented Nigeria from creating any proper chances or any even good looks, even half chances for them to even try and get a shot on goal. They, even though they didn't have a lot of possession, they had Nigeria most of the time in positions that they preferred Nigeria to be in. And there was a lot of stop-start fouls in the game, but Morocco had come with a game plan and they executed it. Unfortunately, Nigeria couldn't adjust. They couldn't find any other ways to try and get out of the kind of football that Morocco was getting them to play. And unfortunately, they were terrible on the penalty kicks. The Chukwueze's penalty is one of those ones where if the keeper guesses wrongly, it looks like a brilliant penalty. If he doesn't, you just look terrible. And in these kind of games, especially with a country like Nigeria and how much they know it means to the fans, the least you could have done was at least thump it so that they feel like there was an effort. This just feels, absolutely heartbreaking for them. And I'm glad that they lost, because if they had won the AFCON, they would cook us for a long time, because I don't think we have the chops to win the World Cup. So it's good that they lost. But they've done very, very well up until this game. They played exceptionally well. They were ruthless in the game. They gave us a lot of good moments and good goals. And they should be happy for their performance. So just unfortunate that they couldn't qualify. And I think the 2 best teams are in the final at the moment. Those who decided to win their games and finish their chances and be on point on the day when they were playing. So kudos to Senegal and Morocco for making it to the final.
Well, kudos to those guys. But I think that, for me, the Senegal game, I always say that, maybe I may sound stupid or silly to people who don't believe in those works, but when everything fails, or when you try everything and it doesn't work, glory comes from good luck and goodwill. And I've said it that what Sadio Mané has done for this Senegal team, or what he's done in his personal life, continues to dwell for him and, works for him. Look at that finish. On any day, We've seen Shenawi in many instances. He will save that particular ball. But I deem it that from most of his charity works, there are times the glory just shines on him for how good he is. Look at his temperament during the game. When the two technical benches decided to put in a fight and all that, he was present, keep them calm enough. Tell them that, gentlemen, just keep calm. It's just football that we are playing. When they were in the dugout, he went to Mohamed Salah first. So you see, he's always doing the things that works for him. And, when these footballers talk about luck, I think these elements do have a part to play, but he works for it too. Look at his position. When Habib Diarra just hit the ball again, you're expecting Mane to be out wide and then, Nicholas Jackson hopping onto that scrap, but he just got onto it and finished that one up. Well, but the harm has been caused, and for Nigeria, just like you're saying, they lost the psychological battle for me. Going into the game, they should have known that, yes, Morocco were going to be favorite. They stole Wabali's towel, his own face towel from his post. The steward stole it and then...
Listen, it's all in love and war. They will do anything possible to qualify at this point. They are the hosts. They have everything in terms of like the fans, the workers at the stadium, the stewards, the ball boys. They are all Moroccan. They are supporting their team, their country. They will do whatever. Exactly.
So, well, they've worked it out. The final is going to be on Sunday, the third place. We are not interested. I think that is something that CAF should just scrap it. Yes, if you please.
The more games they play, the more money they make. TV rights.
Third and fourth should just get the same amount, and then they should just move from that. If it's about the World Cup, yes, we can find a bronze medal for anyone who finishes third. But the final is on Sunday. First of all, how do you see this final?
This is the final that we deserve, to be honest with you. This is the final that Africa deserves. This is the final that all football fans deserve. This is the final that every single person that loves African football deserves. These two teams have been the best amongst the rest. From day one, I said Senegal were going to win the tournament. I still stand by it. I think they have to be more aggressive in the final if they want to win it, because they are going against the hosts. And it's going to be very, very difficult in that game. It's going to be extremely difficult in that game. I expect it to be a very cagey encounter. I expect the Moroccans to approach the game with a lot of aggression because they want to win and they have the crowd behind them. They haven't qualified or they haven't played in the final since they last won in 2004, the Hadji brothers. So now they would want to win it for their country. They've been perhaps the best African side for about 2 years now, getting to the semifinals of the World Cup. They have a very young, brilliant, ambitious manager. And most of their players now are also at the right stage of their careers to win a trophy for their country. Yassine Bonu is flying. He's doing very well. Even with Al Hilal, he's doing very well. They've lost their captain, Romain Saiz, but they've done very well with Nayef Aged leading the charge in defense. They're not even playing with Amrabat in midfield. Players like El Nesri are on the bench. El Kabi is the one leading the attack, but Brahim Diaz has been a sensation for them. People were touting Ademola Lookman as the player of the tournament. For me, it's been Brahim Diaz. I've always loved him whenever I've watched him play, but they're going against the Teranga Lions of Senegal. And whenever you are playing a team like Senegal, you need to be worried. Whenever you are playing a team that has Sadio Mané in attack, you need to be worried. A team and they are missing Khalidou Koulibaly, which is going to be a big blow. Because unlike Mamouche, El Kabi is a focal point of attack. Mamouche moves around a lot, so he's a handful to mark. So I was concerned for.
Do you see it that way? Do you see that? I think,
without Koulibaly?
Yes. I think, sir, there's one thing about him. He's now ragged and his pace is a suspect. So anytime, teams decide to use his end of the pitch. I was really glad when he got injured and got off the pitch.
Right.
And even after the yellow card, because he was going to be slow, Mamouche was going to capitalize, and then, Egypt were just going to hit directly to his path. And onto his closest right-hand side is Crepin Diatta, who is not an adapt right back. So every time you decide to go through that channel, Senegal find it difficult. So for me, I am happy because Sarr from Lyon, a 20-year-old, very vibrant, quality player, I think it's good enough. It's good enough for Senegal. Me, I'm happy.
So that's a 20-year-old in the final of the African Cup of Nations, right? So that's a different conversation altogether. When you have a 20-year-old in the final of the AFCON, that's a different conversation altogether. this is his first time in such a tournament. It's just 20 years. The game against Egypt, yes, I totally agree with you that Mamouche was going to really be a handful for him because of his pace and his mobility. He's not stationary. He's one of those mobile strikers. He moves around a lot and he likes to push into the corners, right? So he drags defenders away. I was very concerned, and I think it's one of such actions that led to the injury that Kalidou Koulibaly had. But El Kabi is a different type of striker. If you think about the strikers that Morocco could play on the day, they are all central strikers that are more stationary, that Kalidou Koulibaly could wrestle with. So we think of El Kabi, you think of even El Nesri. They are all focal point, classic number 9s that Kalidou Koulibaly could wrestle with. And that's when they need him most. And they need his leadership. Beyond that, they even need his leadership, the spirit that he has to lead the team. So for me, he would be a big miss. In midfield too, they are losing him by in midfield as well, because I think he got a yellow card. But they should be fine with Pape Mamesa to replace him if they want the chap from Tottenham Hotspur. So they should be fine there. In attack, the weapon fashion against them, as I've said, has always been who? Nicholas Jackson. KG encounter. I think that it's going to be won by it's going to be won in extra time, or it's going to go to penalties. If Senegal stands a good chance of winning, they should try as much as possible not to push the game to penalties. But if it goes to the extra time as well, it goes in the favor of Senegal. Why? Because the Moroccans will be tired. They played high octane football against the Nigerians. I think the Senegalese stand a better chance to win within the first 120 minutes. But if it goes to penalties, the Moroccans have the edge. The Moroccans have the advantage. It's a tall order, but I'm going for the Senegalese. My heart is for the Senegalese. My mind is telling me it's going to be a tight KG encounter. And if it goes to penalties, the Moroccans would win. The Senegalese should do everything that they can to win the game within the first 120 minutes.
Yeah, let's wait to see what will happen in there. Thank you so much, Koku. Now, Asari, you have the floor. What do you make of this final, and who do you think carries the day on Sunday?
It's a final that will be interesting. Just like Koku said, there's going to be a KG affair because it's a final that I don't think anyone would like to give away easily. So they'll be very, very, both teams will concentrate a lot on not conceding and try to be as compact as possible. But I think Senegal will start out and test Morocco. I want Senegal to win, but Morocco playing at home with their supporters behind them, I believe if Senegal doesn't score and win it in 90 minutes, they would lose the game.
That's what you think. Well, this is quite brief. But Amoah and JJ,
wait to hear what they have to say about Real Madrid. The two Real Madrid fans whom I believe are going to have very opposing views on what is happening at Real Madrid.
The Los Blancos, a lot of things have been happening with Real Madrid, and the managerial changes, the kind of mayhem, the players, and Xabi Alonso. But now Alvaro Arbeloa, his first game, he loses to Albacete 3-2 in the Copa del Rey. Things are getting murkier for Real Madrid. But who goes first? Awaje, is it you?
No, let me hear from Dominic first. Dominic, what's happening in your club? Tell us. Let's start from Dominic.
I don't know. I think thank you guys for having me. But I think in general, okay, my honest opinion is that people are blowing what is happening out of proportion because it's Real Madrid. For me, I think that in the last 5 years or so, the team is supposed to be in a position of transition. But because of one, the presence of quality players, quality individual players, and two, the lack of, if I should say, proper opposition in Spain and also throughout Europe, it has kind of covered over some of the cracks that were in the team. So the expectation of the team has risen above what it truly should be. If you look at all the big teams who dominated Europe for some time, there's always that point 5 to 10 years where there's that slump when all their big boys are leaving the team. But we did not experience that with this Real Madrid team. So, for example, 2018, after that historic repeat, when Zidane was leaving, when Ronaldo was leaving, we were almost getting into that phase, but then came a young Vinicius Jr. and then a rejuvenated Benzema. Ancelotti came in to do his magic. Some way, somehow, in 2021, the team was able to win again in 2022, and then in 2024, the team was able to win again. These were periods where the team, in my opinion, was supposed to be in transition. But because of some of these brilliant moments, and I mean, Real Madrid being Real Madrid, were still able to win and be relevant even in those times. And as I said, lack of proper opposition. When I say lack of proper opposition, Barcelona, who are the prime opposition in Spain, were in a transition of their own. And in that time, you look around Europe and you couldn't pinpoint any team that was strong enough, any players that were significantly better than what Real Madrid had. So I think that covered over some of the cracks that were present. But the main problem for me, that's from where I sit, that I see, is the defense. You look at this defense, and after winning the Champions League in 2022, Kotoko got injured, I think, in that 24 campaign. We were lucky enough to have Lunin step in and do a wonderful job. But over the last 3 years, we've had Eder Militao go home with 2 ACLs. Dani Carvajal has had an ACL. We had issues with Mendy. Sometimes we even forget he plays for Real Madrid. Alaba has had his issues. Rudiger's fitness over the last 2 years has been a concern. And so it's always difficult to have a stable back four. And I think that's where all our problems are stemming from, because we're always having a makeshift. Zidane Valverde is going to the right back, Camavinga is going to the left back, Tchouaméni is going to the center back. Dinhausen was brought in over the summer and his fitness has been on and off. He hasn't really established himself. And that leads to the pressures that we see. So now there's more pressure on the midfielders, there's more pressure on the attackers to track back and all that. And for me, that is the basic problem of Real Madrid. I think the defense is what has been our problem most of the times, because I mean we still find ways to score. Sometimes you have some of these attackers, Vinicius, Rodrigo, going on slumps. Mbappe had his own slump when he came in early last season. But the major problem for me is the defense, and some way, somehow, it's being ignored. Maybe this summer, some work was done there. Trent was brought in. He also has fitness issues. Carreras was brought in for left back, who has fitted in quite well. But I think the basic problem with us, with the team, over the last 2 seasons or so, has been a poor defense. But somehow we find ways to win few games, so it covers it.
Dominic, one thing. So I agree with you on the defensive frailties of Real Madrid, right? And the fact that they try to reconstruct the defense with Dinhausen and Carreras and what's his name? Trent. So when you think about it, right, they bought 3 defenders across. Yeah. So not almost every area of the defense they tried to, or they actually reinforced. But what do you think about the profiles that they brought in? Do you think it actually fits the team? Because hear me out, and Abaji can chime in here. You bring in Trent, right? Already you have an issue with your right wing. You don't have an out-and-out right winger. Fine, Mastantuono now plays over there for you, but he's not a guaranteed starter. If you pick the Real Madrid starting team today, right, for any big occasion, Mastantuono doesn't start. So the people who will start, so let's think of Rodrigo, Vinicius, and Kylian Mbappe, right? The 3 of them are the starters. Oftentimes, when Madrid plays, Fede Valverde occupies the right whenever they're attacking to create that balance in attack. You bring in Trent and Alexander-Arnold. Trent Alexander-Arnold isn't that flying fullback that goes up and down the wing. Trent's best trait, his best asset is his passing. Often, whenever we've seen Trent be at his best, it's when he's tagged in, joined the midfielders, or come in field and he's playing diagonal passes across, or he's picking passes to Mohamed Salah to create a 1v1 action for him. That has been Trent's biggest asset. So if you bring him into a side like Real Madrid, and Xabi Alonso asks him to now hug the touchline and be that marauding right back that goes up and down the flank, that's problematic. That isn't his best attribute. And I'm not surprised that he gets injured so often. Ever since he joined Madrid, he gets injured so often. Another issue I've seen is, and I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago on the pod, that Madrid failed to replace someone like Joselu. Whenever Madrid plays a low block and they have an issue against that low block, they can't break those teams down. Joselu would always come in to cause chaos in the opposition defense, and they would find a goal. They didn't replace Joselu. They thought, and again, I think about, I get into Jose Perez's mind, and I'm thinking Jesus Perez's mind, and I'm thinking, he thinks, okay, I have Endrick. I want to give Endrick minutes to play, but his profile doesn't fit the Joselu type. He doesn't even have the stature to be the Joselu type of striker. And then in midfield, I think Madrid also failed to replace someone with the profile of Toni Kroos, the controller type, he's not the aggressive type, he's not the midfield enforcer, but he's the brain behind the team. He determines whether we go short, slow, long, fast, everything goes through him. So I even made a tweet a couple of months ago before the season started that, why wouldn't Madrid take someone like Thomas Partey for free for 1 year? Just take him for free for 1 year, because he's a controller. He's played in the Spanish league before. He can do a job for you. I feel Madrid has missed that profile a lot in their team, and it's cost them a lot, because people talk about, Mbappe is always fighting with Vinicius for the left flank. That's not a problem. That has never been a problem, because I don't even remember the last time Mbappe for his club played as a left winger. I don't, because under Gautier, they played a 3-4-3 where he was the arrowhead and Neymar and Messi supported him. Before Neymar and Messi supported him, there was Di Maria and Neymar supporting Mbappe as the arrowhead. Even at Lyon, even at Monaco, he played up top with, what's his name?
Falcao. Yeah.
Yes, at Falcao. And even France, for France, he plays up top with, they play a 4-3-1-2, or when they won the World Cup, they played a 4-3-1-2 with Giroud and him up top and Griezmann supporting him. So that has never been an issue. And a lot of people are pointing fingers at Vinicius. They've made Vinicius bigger than the club, and he's holding the club to ransom, and they don't respect the manager. That we can get into the merits of the type of coaches that they've brought in. But I just want to hear your thoughts about this, like the profiles that were brought in the club. About what do you think about that? You guys know the ins and outs about the club. And then we can get into Alonso. People are calling him a system coach being brought to manage a club that doesn't believe in systems. What do you make of that as well?
Okay. I love Real Madrid, and the reason is simple. It's a simple institution, just win. All this, I agree with just a few things. Maybe the Toni Kroos issue, and then a striker of the profile of Joselu. We might be looking at, let's say, a Marcus Thuram to replace him. But Ancelotti had 3 ACLs to key defenders. He had multiple injuries, over 30 plus injuries to key players, midfielders, attackers, and everything. He won the league and the Champions League. You have some of the best players in the world. When you make an 11 of the best players in the world, you cannot have 4 or 5 coming from Real Madrid. There is simply no excuse. Just find a way to win. It's as simple as that. Look at your profile, find a formation or anything that suits the team, and win. It's as simple as that. I think it's even easy for you as a coach. They are not asking you to play a specific way. They are not asking you to play a brand of football that people would love or anything. They are just asking you to deliver trophies. So all Alonso had to do, I think the problem with Real Madrid is Alonso. That's all. He doesn't have the pedigree. He doesn't have the charisma. He doesn't deserve the job in the first place.
I thought I didn't like Alonso, but it seems
I dislike him so much especially because he played under Mourinho, played under Pep, played under Carlo, and he's a Real Madrid legend. So you should know the institution better than anybody. What do? Try and win first. Get some goodwill from the fans. Then you try to implement your philosophy. It's even nonsense to me. I've always said it. All this philosophy thing is nonsense. Football is played in so many ways. We can't all play the same way. If you want to play that kind of football, that brand of football, where you pass out, you have to be Pep. It's like a gift. We don't know where Ronaldinho got his skills from. That is a gift. You can't teach it. Maybe that's Pep's gift. That kind of football is Pep's gift. Don't go playing it. Anybody that has tried has failed. Pochettino failed. The rest, all of them failed. It belongs to Pep. Leave it to him. Come and play Real Madrid football. What is Real Madrid's football? Win. Nobody cares. What was Zidane's philosophy? Can anybody help me with Zidane's philosophy? People had the guts to say that Ancelotti doesn't have a formation. Can you believe that?
Can you imagine? Listen, think about it.
Someone
who trained
in 4 seasons, and people say he didn't have a formation.
Bro, it bossed my mind to the point that people were saying that Ancelotti doesn't have any tactics. He just comes and he raises his eyebrow. I'm like, wait, there is no single Italian coach that has no tactics. There's not a single Italian coach that doesn't have tactics. Not even a single one. Italian football is the most tactical football in the world. Ancelotti played under Arrigo Sacchi, who likes systems and tactics more than Arrigo Sacchi. Ancelotti was playing a 3-4-3 system at Juventus and using what's his name? Thierry Henry as a wing back because he wanted him to fit his system. He came and he started playing the Christmas tree formation. Then we all realized that, Christmas tree and at AC Milan. And we all realized that, you can have all these players and play without a winger. He played without wingers.
Can you imagine?
Because he had a lot of number 10s. He found a way to get them to win. But people are now fixated over systems and tactics because of Pep. Pep said before he won the Champions League, he started playing traditional football. He started playing transition football. No block football.
He realized that Pep wasn't helping. He brought in Haaland. And I always tell people, go back and watch their games from the quarterfinal to the final. They were playing very conservative football. He played 5 centre-backs. Pep started with 5 centre-backs because his right back is a centre-back, left back is a centre-back. Then he's playing 2 central defenders, and in John Stones in Mayford, who is also a centre-back. And then he's playing a big number 9 up front, and he's playing long balls to him. That was Pep Guardiola to win the Champions League. So the people trying to imitate him, I wonder, and I worry a lot for. And again, up to Abodje's point, he says his biggest problem is Alonso. Alonso had the opportunity to play under all these great coaches, and even his father was a coach. So why do you come to Real Madrid and then you want to reinvent the wheel? Anyway. Exactly, and maybe that's a little part I do agree with Abodje. I don't think Alonso is all of Real Madrid's problems, but I think he was a significant part in that, like Abodje said, and I agree with him. Learn the profiles you have and win with the profiles you have. Going back to the Christmas tree for Carlo Ancelotti, he implemented this when he came back to Chelsea, trying with Lampard and Drogba.
Yeah, and he won the league. He won the league, yeah.
And so you look at that 2022 Champions League he won with us.
Right.
It was a proper 4-3-3 formation. All those times when we had those comebacks, we'll be playing the game. He realizes that it's tough. All these profiles you are mentioning, Toni Kroos, Modric, Dems, he realized at a point in the game, the Man City game, the PSG game, the Chelsea game, we were struggling at a point. What did he do? He takes them out, brings in Rodrigo and Camavinga, and just like that, the game changes. So watch your profile. Same coach in the 2024 Champions League season, we were playing the 4-4-2 diamond with Jude behind Rodrigo and Vinicius. Again, when things got hard, what did he do? Pull out somebody, put in Joselu, fly the balls. So yes, I agree that Alonso doesn't have the Joselu type striker, but he has a Gonzalo Garcia. What does he do? The times he wants to play Gonzalo Garcia, he brings him on to play the right wing because he wants Mbappe to stay on the center forward. Learn the profiles of your players, see when you need what, and implement. You can't tell me you are trying to rotate the team, make everybody play, and you are playing Kylian Mbappe, who is half fit for 90 minutes against Talavera. It doesn't make any sense. The next match is against Man City, and Kylian Mbappe doesn't play. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So it doesn't make any sense. So I think Alonso was maybe just confused, or the job was too big for him. Abodje,
he failed even before he started. Why? Simple. You come into a big club like Real Madrid. These are players who have played under Ancelotti and then other big coaches, and they've won a lot. They've won practically everything under Ancelotti. You come and you try to start undermining the best player of that team. You failed. You don't have the pedigree to come and do that. You are not a Pep, a Jose Mourinho, a Carlo, all these successful men to come, and Luis Enrique to come and then start undermining the best players of the team. All you have to do was come, be humble, let the boys play, win, and then when there's good role, you have that space. Then maybe slowly but surely, you try and implement some of your philosophies. The other red flag was signing Jimmy Hudson or whatever his name is from Bournemouth. You can't sign a player from Bournemouth to Real Madrid. He is not used to that kind of environment.
I think
that was a Perez signing, not an Alonso signing.
Champions League matches before. He's just not there. He's just not. Just watch him in all our big games. Just watch him.
But you see, and that part is on Perez and the board, because definitely those signings were made before Alonso. Maybe he had inputs here and there, but I think that sometimes Perez and the board want to try to have a feel or have a Real Madrid touch in the Spanish national team, because you realize that in recent times, with the exception
It's
of
an institution,
Carvajal,
they must.
yes, exactly. With the exception of Carvajal, there wasn't any significant member of the Spanish national team in the Real Madrid team. So they needed somebody. And looking at the talents available and the paths that fit the team, it was a central defender, and Hausen was, the brightest spot.
No problem. Put him on the bench. Put him on the
Spanish
bench.
players. So,
but hear me out. Hear me out. Right. Let's get into the minds of Jose Perez, like Jesus Perez, like you just did, right? And I'm thinking that they thought, okay, we need to reconstruct our defense. Rudiger is on the wrong side of 30. Alaba is on the wrong side of 30. A Demilita, who's supposed to lead our defense for the next 5 years or so, has 2 ACLs. We can't trust him. We can't trust him to be fully fit and get back to his level, right? So who's the brightest incoming centre back? For me, I think they shouldn't have gone for Huijsen. But I think I also understand why they went for Huijsen. I would have gone to tap someone like Saliba and tell him, Saliba, don't sign your contract, don't renew your contract. We'll give you 10 million euros. Run your contract down, come to Real Madrid for free. That's what I would have done.
You don't know about Real Madrid. People talk about Barcelona. Real Madrid also don't have money. It's the reason why they've been doing the free. That's the truth. That's the blatant truth.
Yeah, very true. And that's why Perez has been pushing for the Super League for some time.
Exactly. They don't have money.
Yeah.
They need money.
Yeah.
The Real Madrid have money to keep this.
That's the problem.
Under wraps.
Exactly. Yeah.
You see, I hit a nerve when I talked about Saliba. The Arsenal fan quickly jumped in and said they don't have money. Obeba free. Obeba fan is free.
Saliba is signing his contract. You see, they were waiting for Konate to finish up his contract at Liverpool, and now they've backed out of it because they've realized, come on, that is also another time bomb they will be sitting on.
Yeah, I think Saliba would have been the best bet for
injury
him.
Situation. And you see, and that brings me to the Trent conversation. I think I have a feeling low key that if it wasn't for Reece James' fitness, maybe they would have looked at him rather than Trent. But again, Trent was available. He wanted a fresh start, so they kind of hopped on. But coming back onto the Alonso thing and playing under different managers, I don't know if I want to call this karma or anything, but back in 2013, Mourinho had a similar situation, trying to push out Casillas and bring in Diego Lopez, trying to change captains, trying to do this. And then there was the Spanish sect, there was the Netherlands sect, and there was the other part of the team. Then the team was so disjointed. And you, Alonso, you were part of that Spanish sect who were with Ramos and Casillas.
It was in the same dressing room.
So you know how these things work. This is a blueprint. Like Amoah just said, you don't come onto the team and try to just undermine somebody like Vinicius Jr. There are so many different ways that Alonso could have dealt with this. And you see that there have been different occasions this season where Fede Valverde came out to say that his son Benito likes Vinicius Jr. more than he likes him. It sends a message. Valverde, who was playing right wing, right back, whatever, even a goalkeeper he could play for Ancelotti, comes out this time to say that he's not a right back. You have all these players putting out these little things, and it's sometimes you may not be doing it to them directly, but these boys look in the mirror. Valverde played with Vinicius right from Castilla. These boys look at their teammates and they know where the team was, who Vinicius Jr. was, where he has grown to be. Jude Bellingham simply idolizes this boy. Camavinga is Brazilian because of this boy. So when you start touching important members, I'm not saying as a coach you can't decide to bench anyone or you can't decide to do anything.
But there's a way to do it, right?
There's a way to go about it. We played a season, I've forgotten the game. He had Vinicius on the bench, he had Rodrigo on the bench, and he was playing Fran Garcia as a left winger.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense to me. And so when you do some of these things and you are giving people like Brahim Diaz and Mastantuono minutes over Rodrigo, and Endrick is not playing, and you want to play Garcia and is on the right, because so it looks like you are trying to bring in your new thing. Like Kotoko said, you're trying to reinvent the wheel, trying to to force Ada Goulet and Mbappe combination down the throat of everyone. Nobody's saying they're bad players, no. But it's a team you are building. And like I'm saying, probably karma has come for him, but if you don't know how to manage egos, how to manage players, it's not about playing passing football or playing champagne football. At Real Madrid, like Amoah just said, you have to win, and once you don't win, you're asked, unfortunately.
All right, sure.
Quick question. Let me answer Madrid. What do you think is going to happen for the rest of the season? And I'm not sure if you guys read the news today, but there's a journalist writing that it's Perez's wish to bring Mourinho to Madrid. That's my prayer. Tomorrow I'm fasting for that because my daddy has to have one last round in the Champions League. Wallahi, unless people deactivate me.
Emfa, chairman, Emfa.
Oh, why not? Who doesn't want Mourinho?
Yeah, gentlemen, for just quick one, a minute each for you, and Dominic, Awaji and Dominic, which manager do you think that will now available will fit Real Madrid and will be the ideal choice for Real Madrid, who tactically will fit the team and will be able to manage the egos of these players and get the very best result out of them?
For me, I would say Zinedine Zidane. I think Zidane is the ideal Real Madrid coach. I think when Ancelotti came back and won in 2022, I put out a post on X that the ideal situation for Real Madrid would be to cycle between Ancelotti and Zidane every 2 or 3 years. I think the best person for this team is Zidane. He commands that respect that none of these players will be able to look down on or whatever. And he has that tactical dexterity. Zidane, I loved Zidane so much. Zidane knew which 11 to choose to play which team. Zidane knew which system to choose to play which game. And that is a Real Madrid coach. During Zidane's time, I can't go by, it was so beautiful. I think that's the best, but maybe Zidane is also eyeing the French job and maybe doesn't want to. So with Zidane on the side, to be honest, off the top of my head, I don't know. I just hope we win with Arbeloa some way, somehow.
Yeah, all right. Dominic.
About you go ahead. I just...
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So for me, I think it's simple. Any coach who is ready to win now, and then you need to have the pedigree. Mourinho, Luis Enrique, Zidane, Carlo, any of them. As long as it's not a hipster coach, those process and we are in transition. Those managers, just avoid those ones. They'll just waste your time. They are testers and cool. Time wasters. We are ready. We have the top players. So any manager who is ready to win now, any manager that can walk in the dressing room and then the players will know that no, we're Bob Brassing. Manager, we were Bob Brassing. So what can be a bit? Imagine having a math teacher that you are better at maths than. You won't even go to class. That was Alonso's problem. Vinicius above Brazil or Real Madrid at that time. So you don't go in there telling him what to do. So any manager with a pedigree and then the track record, that comes with it, like winning trophies and then being successful. Yeah, then we'll be good to go. Zidane, Mourinho, Carlo, Luis Enrique, any of this for even Thomas wouldn't be bad. And then I think we should be looking at the next Champions League next season.
Those are the thoughts from the Real Madrid fans, but I'm also thinking that there's one manager you can just entice to come and then just work things out for you, and that is Jurgen Klopp. He's still available. He's a quality manager, and these are players that will fit his style. If he has Mbappe, if he has Vini Jr., if he has Rodrigo, I think you look at that front three he built and was devastating at Liverpool. He could virtually do the same for Real Madrid. But I don't know. Thanks so much to the Madridistas. Now to Manchester United, and they've brought back Michael Carrick. I don't know what is wrong with this team, but they seem to be, repeating the same things all over and all over again. I don't see how it works. Sorry, this is for you. Sorry, what is happening at Manchester United? And do you think that this appointment solves the problems?
I think they just didn't know what to do after they decided they were going to sack, what's his name? Amorim. And they just seem to have essentially bottled the whole thing with how they even approached trying to get, before they even arrived at Michael Carrick. Because there were a lot of news that they had spoken to Ole, and because of certain demands he had made, that he wanted it to be written into his contract that if he performed to a certain level and won some level of games, he would be made the permanent coach, and they didn't like that because they just wanted him.
Can you imagine?
They just wanted him as an interim and for only the interim period, which Michael Carrick seems to have agreed to. But I think if you are going to sack a manager, you should have your replacement lined up. You don't sack the manager and are now going around looking for who you want to bring in, because evidently after this half of the season, at the end, you are still going to be in the same position. You are still going to be looking for a manager to come and take over from Michael Carrick. And you even have a bigger problem if Carrick performs. And now you have the same problem you had with Ole, where he won 14 games and then it's like, okay, now let's give him the job, and you give him the job and he's not up to the task. So I generally don't believe in interim coaches. I feel like if you, just like how Chelsea went for Liam Rossini, even though I don't think he's the man for the job, but they know who they're going for. They give him the contract and they're like, go and do your job. This interim thing is just going to put the players in a limbo. Because one, if I'm playing, I know Carrick is not a permanent coach. Why would I stress myself? What intensity am I going to play with? Because at the end of the day, in 3 to 6 months, he's gone. Then I have to impress a different coach who will be playing a different style, who will be playing with different tactics. That whole system is just flawed, in my opinion. But I hope they respond, and I hope that the chase for the Champions League and where they are currently in the table is not bad. If they can put together a run of wins, they should be able to make the Champions League places, and we'll see where we'll go from there. But I think all of this also puts a lot of doubt in Bruno Fernandes's mind, since when the summer comes around, he only has 1 year left on his contract. And he is virtually the only player. He's the only player on that team that is of any quality. Him and Lisandro Martinez. So if you are not certain in the direction you are going with, who your manager is and all of those things, how do you expect a player like Bruno in the summer, when he's thinking about what's next, what to do with his career next? Would he consider, am I going to renew my contract with Manchester United because I want to win something? I'm in the twilight of my career, and there's a lot of big money coming in from Saudi and all of those things. But even if I want to stay in Europe, there will be a lot of clubs who are willing to take me on, even if they're not going to pay me as high a salary as United are paying me. But United doesn't seem to have that plan or that foresight as to where they are going. And for a player who is in the twilight of their career, where they are playing exceptional football, they will be takers. And I suspect that there will be a lot of offers for him this summer. And I only truly hope that he drowns all that noise and just decides to stick with Manchester United, because if he is not in the team, we don't even have anyone who is going to play the way he plays, create the chances the way he creates. We might as well go to relegation and then go and start from the championship.
Oh, this is quite interesting. Now, this is for you.
I tire Man U, so I tire Man United. I'm tired.
I know you're tired of Manchester United.
It took you too long.
I actually have one thing, which I think that if I was United, I wouldn't do the same thing again, bringing in a manager who hasn't. Fine, Carrick knows the championship, but does he know the Premier League that much as a coach? There's a coach who is virtually fed up with his club, and he's one of the best you can find in Europe to rebuild squads and even win you titles. That is in Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace. He did it in Germany, and he won the Europa League. Why don't you tell him, gentlemen, come, we have no European commitment. We are virtually out of, competitions. No EFL Cup, no FA Cup, just focus on the league. Manchester United are not too far from being in the top 4. And this season's Premier League is so funny. It's just like the Ghana Premier League. You win 1 and you're up. You lose 1 and you are down. If a manager who was able to restructure Crystal Palace, get the very best out of players like Jean-Philippe Mateta, made Adam Wharton, a name that was on the lips of many for the English, national team, and then made Eze and Olise realize their true potential. Why don't you get him to come and then just get your team going at least till the end of the season, and then he would have a new season to restructure the team proper. Now, one thing is, he's very more experienced as a coach than these others that Manchester United is, they're hiring. The next thing is, he's a winner. Number 3, you can trust him to build a very good squad for you. Number 4, Premier League experience. He has it better than Amorim. He has it better than Michael Carrick. So why don't you get him? And he did it. He did it at Crystal Palace with less resources. You look at this Manchester United team, and I'm not sure anyone will look at this United team and then compare player for player at Crystal Palace and say that, yes, I think that these players are better. When Glasner took over Crystal Palace, I'm not sure many would choose, Eze over Bruno. Nobody. But look at how Eze now started blossoming. Look at Jean-Philippe Mateta. You can't tell me that Mateta and then Šeško, from Šeško's brilliance at Leipzig, you put Šeško here and you put Mateta here, and many will pick Mateta ahead of Šeško. It clearly tells you that there's something missing, and this is a ready-made coach who understands whatever that there is to do and get you the very best. Now, Carrick himself says that I am only agreeing to doing until the end of the season. And he said it in the Manchester United only, the interview he had at that Carrington podcast. So why are they troubling themselves in going round, circles when they can actually make a decision that can withstand the test of time? I don't know who is making decisions there, but I always say that the detachment of Alex Ferguson from Manchester United probably would help. Maybe when it comes to some decision making, they should just leave him out, the technical part, and then allow people to work. If it continuously has an impact, a greater say with regards to those stuff, then United will continuously fail, day in, day out, week in, week out.
Yeah, Kelvin won't let me have peace. So, Kelvin, I think I've said my thoughts over the last couple of weeks about Man United and where I think they should go. I like the Glasner idea that you spoke of, but I also had a different idea, which was to bring in someone like Roberto Martinez. And I know that we had comments on the pod. Shouts to Prince, shouts to Keba. Keba commented on the pod and said that Roberto Martinez would relegate Man United by 2028.
That is the truth.
I don't agree. I don't agree at all.
You don't have to agree, but it's the truth.
I think Martinez is a brilliant manager. I think he's done brilliantly at Belgium. That's all Jay.
No, he had to change it before he won.
No. So you see that
when he was criticized,
he was humble enough to change. He was humble enough to realize that, listen.
Championship.
No. Not that. I mean, people like Ole have been given a chance to manage Man United. How much more Roberto Martinez, he won the FA Cup with Wigan. He won the UEFA.
And they took them to relegation that season.
I mean, context matters. Don't just throw blanket statements without context. It's Wigan. What is the Mourinho talked about football heritage? What is the football heritage? No. What's the football heritage of Wigan?
So Wigan is, the demands at Manchester United is not the same demands
but he's managing Portugal. He's managing Portugal. What was the history of Portugal before Roberto Martinez? They had one UEFA Nations League and one Euros, and he's come and he's added one UEFA Nations League to it, and he's looking to win the World Cup for Portugal.
Something that everybody has done. The World Cup, you all know he'll go and fail.
But we are all here, we'll see. And if he fails to win the World Cup at Portugal, will it be news? No, it won't be news because the team has never won it before.
Yes, so the manager is not good.
No, it's not because the manager. It's not the fault of the manager not winning.
Get to the quarter.
Guys, you are getting me. My choice is Roberto Martinez. I think he's a brilliant manager. Oliver Glasner is good. He's doing very well at Crystal Palace. I think that he perhaps wasn't considered for this interim job because he's at Crystal Palace. They don't want to pay compensation to Crystal Palace because it comes at an extra cost to buy him out of his contract and then sign him with a new contract to Man United. And with him joining middle of the season with the sentiments around the club, it might not be the best time for him. Perhaps if he is considered or whoever will be considered for the club, I think that person should come in at the end of the season. It's a poison chalice to drink from if you join Man United mid-season, especially in this year, and try to save this season because a lot of harm has been done. The team has been built in a way that they are forced to play in certain systems. We sold all our wingers. We let all our wingers leave because we were trying to accommodate a 3-4-3 system, which has been a colossal failure. Man United has a long way to go for us to get back to the top. I think that Ineos have good intentions, but they lack the expertise to execute. They lack the expertise to execute. I like the idea of going to Man United, of going to Man City and poaching someone like Omar Berrada to be the CEO. I like the idea of bringing someone like Jason Wilcox to be the technical director. And I would like Man United to move away from this mentality of United way of playing bullshit. I always ask people, growing up and supporting Man United, we're known for scoring late goals. And any team that scores late goals is a team that shows resilience. So we're very resilient and we always found a way to win. The only team that played beautiful football, quote unquote, beautiful football at the time was Arsenal. They were known for playing beautiful football. So this whole nonsense about, we have to play this type of way, it's all bullshit. But just said something. Beautiful football is winning football. I don't care how you play, just win. That's all that matters. Just find a way to win. I'm not even fixated on systems and formations. And for coaches who are fixated on, I don't even want to see them close to my team. If there's a coach that is fixated on systems, then I don't want to even see that coach close to my team. Just find a way to win, and that's all. I think I sound like a breaking record at this point. I'm going to pause on Man United, not talk about Man United for the next 3 weeks. For my own mental health and my sanity.
Do you mean 3 minutes or 3 weeks?
I mean, 3 weeks. They say be afraid. Bobo,
Black Stars.
Charlie, Man, as I take Kotoko, it's a strange club.
I hear Agadas is also coming back.
Agadas is also back. It's a strange club.
You see, a lot more of the local stuff because Hatofuk to have their own rules. Agbashi and then Benjamin Asari's issue. At the end
I don't know why they've made a big deal out of this, honestly. Asari is your number one. He's he's with the Black Stars. He's the Black Stars number one. Why are you creating confusion?
You know Agbashi is open for the future. And his contract...
I don't care what the future is.
At the end of the season...
Asari is number one.
At the end of the season, his contract...
We always do this. I think Kotoko did with Felix
Sanan, he gives me PTSD. Felix Sanan, Danlad. Why?
Oh, I don't know where it's the same thing. It's always the same thing. It's almost the same thing. Those two teams are operating on the same
thing. I don't understand. Like, when one does this, the other one will do a different version of it. You've seen this thing play out at Kotoko. Kotoko got nothing out of it. Nothing. It happened with Felix, and then it happened with Danlad, and it happened with the recent goalkeeper. What's his name? This young guy.
Frederick Asari.
Frederick. Same thing. Frederick, same thing. Same thing. So why do you keep on repeating the same things and to expect different results? No matter how good Agbasi has been in this guy's Asari's absence, Asari is number one. Do you know how good Kelleher was in Alisson's absence? Do you know how good Lunin? Do you know how good he was in what's his name?
He literally won as a champion.
He took them to the final. But in the final, Courtois came and he was man of the match.
To the bench.
Yes, he put him on the bench and he was one of the match. Massa! Go
even in this Asari issue, forget about just a little. Forget about maybe the brilliance of Agbasi. If Asari is able to get into that team to the World Cup, look at the money you are making. Sometimes you should think about some of these things.
And for now, he's one of the guaranteed players because he's the number one. Even if they find a different number, they will try and put him number two.
Good, because
he qualified.
The backlash they get.
Exactly. Because he's sort of the one.
Making it easy for them to drop him.
Yes. I don't understand even Didi Dramani's comments. When tells you Asari is number one and Agbasi is number one, they are both number one. Hey, 1+1 you two. 1+1 you two. 1+1 we are there
number one. A lot is happening. Let's wait and see. The news coming in is that Kotoko sold, a player to a club that are, currently will not be able to register players. That is, Ali Benghazi have been banned. They have a transfer ban. So Albert couldn't register for them because they have.
That's the reason.
The reason why Albert...
but they have to take the money. Kotoko still have to take the money. It's not Kotoko's fault that they couldn't register.
No.
Right.
He's on loan. So now they say he's on loan. So I don't know whether...
But Kotoko still needs to take their whatever hundreds of thousands of dollars from Benghazi.
That'd be the whole issue. We don't be serious one bit. When the club woke up, when I was watching Sundowns and
I was in the stadium, man. I was in the stadium and I watched WAC of Morocco and I watched Esperance Sportive de Tunis. Bro, I had tears in my eyes. I saw them live. I saw them live. And do you know how much they made just by coming to play in this tournament?
Bro.
Do you know how much they made? Kotoko will sell 100 players and still want to make that money. Because how much are we selling our players for? We're selling our players for $150,000 and things. The last time we sold a $1 million player, I think it was Baba Rahman, right? That was about 12 years ago.
I think I saw an article yesterday where they said
the most valuable.
Hamza Issa, the most valuable 150,000.
Yeah, 150,000.
How?
If only you had put your house in order, you would perhaps have qualified to play in the Club World Cup. And just by qualifying, you make $10 million. Just by qualifying, you have $10 million on your balance
that
sheet.
money regardless.
You see, we can get into the conversation of how they spend that money, but you would have $10 million, and that $10 million, right? It can cater for Kotoko's local competitions for the next 10 years.
It can cater for all the 16 or 18 class.
Bro.
Oh,
You're
guys,
not serious.
Don't worry, we'll be getting a lot way to that. Any final words from anybody? Sorry, today you'll be very quiet. Why? Manchester United is getting used to that.
Oh, no, at all. I said we are going to go on a run. Make you no worry.
As I said, the only run Man United can go on is if they run mad.
All right. Well, thank you so much, gentlemen. Thanks for your time. And that's, how we are going to leave it here for today. All you need to do is to just hit us up on X and TikTok at 5050 Football Pod with your thoughts. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening. Drop us a 5-star review and share the podcast with your football mad friends. We'll be back the next time with more analysis, more debate, and more of the football content you love. This has been the 5050 Football Podcast.